everybody, Hayley here again from Hayley Cards, and today I'm going to make this beautiful card. Now this was actually a request from a friend at my local church, and she wanted a card for her female friend, and it was from, she belonged to a music group, so that was the theme that she wanted. So this is what I've gone for, and this is what we're going to make today. So to make this, I've got a couple of products that I'm going to walk you through of how I've made it. So first of all, I've got these mats and layers here, and these are from Chloe's Creative Cards, and these are the fancy circles in 8x8 size. I've also used some corner dies. Now these are beautiful, and they're fairly new to me, and I really love them. I think they just add so much detail, and they're so delicate and pretty. So what I've used there is the Jamie Rogers Borders and Corners collection, and this is Regal Corners. The next thing that I have used is the violin, and this again is from Jamie Rogers from the musical collection, the violin. And then I've just made up some flowers. So for the flowers, I've actually used this is Jamie Rogers, the Florist collection. This is Ripple Star Blooms die. Now this is one plate, and it cuts all those different flowers. Fabulous. I absolutely love this type of die because it just makes flower making and having them ready to go so easy for me. And then just a little bit of foliage to top that off, and this is again the Florist collection, and this is the festive foliage, and I'm just going to use this sort of like berry sprig branch. And very lastly, I've used this is a big stamp plate from Creative Stamping magazines, and this one was from Stamps by Me, and it's kind of music themed, and the sentiment I'm going to use is have a perfect birthday. So now that I've shown you all the products and shown you the card that we're going to make, we're going to jump straight in now and start making this and build the card up from the background upwards. Right, so what I've got then is just a store-bought, pre-made 8x8 base card. The first mats and layers that I'm going to put on here is a piece of gold mirror card, which is here, and I'm going to cut this down. So the actual card is 8x8, so I'm going to cut this down to 7 3/4 squared. So that's that, and then the next layer that I'm going to use, so I'm just going to use a piece of grey card, and I'm going to cut that one down 1/4 inch less again at 7 1/2. So now I've got the two base layers in the background. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in those corner dies, and I'm going to cut this out in, I've got like it's a white, kind of like a shimmer card. So I'm going to cut those out, those corner dies. So what we have here is like, this is the piece that's going to cut the entire thing out, and then you have like inserts that go in there. And I'm going to place those all in now, run them through the die cutting machine, and I'll show you what we have after. So this is what you're left with when you cut that out. If I just peel this tape off, oops, and remove that die, you will see now each section has been individually cut, and that's just beautiful. I love the detail in these. And if you've just got any little bits, just use your pokey tool and pop them out. Just be careful with any of these little curly ones because they can catch sometimes. Just be delicate with it. One caught in the back there. Right, so we have those. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach these all to the card. I'm going to put these in the corners, one in each corner, and then we're going to cut a centerpiece. So I'll be back with you. Right, so what I've done then is I've taken the Chloe's Creative Cards Fancy Circles nesting dies, and I've got 3 pieces of paper again. I've got the gold mirror card, the same grey cardstock, and the same shimmery pearlescent white cardstock. And I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th frame from the set, and I'm going to cut that in gold. Taken the next one down again, so that'll be the 6th in the grey and the 7th in the white, and I'm going to cut all 3 of those together. Right, so I've got all 3 of those cut out now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put foam tape on each, and I'm going to use this big huge roll of 2mm foam tape from Jamie Rogers. It's my favourite. I love the depth of this foam tape, and I love that the backing comes off really easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all these with foam tape on the back and layer them together. Right, so now I've got all those layered up together with the foam tape. I'm going to bring the card back in, and I'm going to pop this in kind of, they're actually fancy circles, but to me they look quite square. So I'm actually going to turn it onto like a diamond orientation, and I'm going to pop that in the centre of the card. Now, the thing that I love about this card is actually the colours that are used, and I've taken inspiration from Jamie Rogers himself and a card that he made very similar to this, but obviously he didn't. We've used different products, but it's like I say, the colour scheme and the sort of general idea of the card has come from Jamie, and I just thought it was beautiful. Right, so now we've got those all laid up, I'm going to work on the actual violin. So I'm going to bring my die in and a couple of bits of cards. I'll pop that to one side. I've got the die here. It's a beautiful die, and I'm going to cut that out with, no, I'm going to swap that, and I'm going to cut it out with the grey. So I've got some grey, and I'm going to cut that out. So I'll run that through. So I have that one cut out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this through again now with the gold. Right, so I've got the grey piece and the gold piece, and these 2 little cut out pieces from the gold there. Now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently pop them to one side and hope I don't lose them. I'm going to take this grey one and I want it to look maybe a little bit weathered, so I'm going to take, this is actually the only grey ink that I think I have that would kind of suit this. So this is the Spectrum Noir. It's an alcohol proof ink pad in Flagstone. It's not ideal for blending or anything like that, but like I say, it's the only one I've got, so it's what I'm going to use. And I've just got a blending brush, and I'm just going to just add a little bit of depth around the edges of this violin. It's got quite a lot of debossed detail, and I think just going over with the ink pad really highlights that detail. And I'm going to take it a step further. Now I've got a white Jelly Roll pen, and you can see where the debossed detail is, and I am just going to use my white pen and trace that detail and run around the whole of that area. Right, so I've gone round that now, and can you see, I'm not sure, it just adds, it looks vintage from where we've inked it, and then it just makes that debossed detail really pop on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the gold layer in, and I'm just going to very slightly offset it behind so it leaves a little shadow. I'm going to get those glued together, and then I'm going to pop these tiny little pieces back into those slots there. So I'm going to get that glued together. Okay, so now that's glued together, and this is what we have. And I've just added that same 2mm foam tape to the back. So that's actually our focal centerpiece, I guess, complete. So the next thing that I'm going to work on, and this is for the decoration, I want to make those beautiful rippled blooms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the die and some white card, and I'm going to run this plate through twice. I'm also going to take this foliage sprig, this berry sprig, and I'm going to run that through twice too. And I'm going to do that both on just plain white card. Once I've done that, I'll be back. Right, okay, so I've got all those cut out. They're all just in white card. And again, these flowers just leaves this very beautiful debossed texture in the card, and I really love that. So what I'm going to do with these flowers is I'm just going to give them a little bit of shape. Now you don't have to do this, it is totally up to you, and I'm going to keep it very, very simple. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tweezers, pop that in the center, and fold that up around. So again, literally just folding the petals around my tweezers, and I find that the easiest way to do it. And I'm going to go now, and I'm going to do that to all of the flowers. Okay, so I've got all them cut now, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I layer these up. So I'm going to take these larger flowers, 2 of those. I'm going to pop some glue in the center and just offset those slightly. Hold that for a second. And then again, I'm going to pop a little bit of glue in the middle of that. And I'm going to take the middle size and I'm just going to see if I can off-center that again. I'll just take my pokey tool and hold that down for a second, let that glue grab. And then I'm going to put another dot of glue in the centre. And I've just got, excuse me, I've just got a sheet of pearls. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one of these pearls and pop it into the centre like so, and that's your flower, and I think they're beautiful. So I'm going to get all those flowers made up now using exactly the same method, and then I'll come back. Right, so I've got all those flowers made up now. Honestly, I think they're stunning. So whilst these are drying and just letting that glue set a little, I'm going to bring in these sprigs, berry sprigs, and I'm going to add a drop of glue to each of these berries, and I'm going to pop a little pearl into the middle. So I'll get that done, and there we have those two beautiful little berry branches. And I think when you're making cards, this might seem quite excessive to some people, and that's fine. If it's not for you, then it's not necessary. I just think sometimes it's the little details that really do make cards stand out, and I like adding these little finishing touches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring back my card, my violin, and I'm going to start assembling these flowers onto the card. I'm going to have that about there, one there, maybe one under there, and then I'm going to have these pearl branches coming out from just underneath. I think that looks really pretty. And then I've just got one of the really tiny small flowers, and I think I might just pop that onto the violin there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all that glued down now, and to do that I'm going to use the Collal 3D glue gel. I'm going to get all that glued down, and then we're going to make a sentiment for this card. Okay, so I have all those flowers glued on now, and that's on with the glue gel. Now the glue gel is brilliant because it gives you so much time to be able to move your flowers and your foliage about. It doesn't stick and dry straight away. It gives you a little bit of depth and dimension. However, it does have a drying time. Ideally, you'd want to leave this, preferably overnight, but at least for a good few hours for it to properly set. But once it's set, they will not move. So yeah, so that is coming together beautifully. So the last thing that I'm going to do, so I'm just going to pop that to one side, being really careful because I don't really want to move those flowers about. Is I'm going to bring in my stamping positioner, and I have my sentiment already on there, and I'm just going to ink this up, and this is the VersaFine Clay Nocturne ink. I'm going to ink that up and stamp it out. And that's beautiful. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to take my paper trimmer and I'm just going to trim this out. Right, so I have that stamped out and cut now, and I've just boxed it off around the sentiment. So all I'm going to do to tie this all in is I'm just going to bring that same blending brush back with the grey ink on, and I'm just going to very gently go around all the edge of this sentiment. I'm not adding any more ink or anything, it's just what I had left on my brush. And then I'm going to stick this piece then, I'm just going to turn that over, pop a little bit of glue on the back, and I'm going to add this to a piece of gold mirror card, just leaving that little border around the edge. There we go. And I'm going to be really brave and this is not like me, and I'm just actually going to freehand cut this and hope that I can get it straight and with the even amount of border. You can use your paper trimmer if you prefer. Ooh, it makes me nervous to trim out by hand. Right, so I have that sentiment there now, and I'm going to pop a little bit of foam tape, again it's the same foam tape I've been using, on the back, and I'm going to put this, I'm just going to slightly tuck it under there like that, pop that down, and there we have it. That's the card made. Now I think that is beautiful. What do you think? Do you like this card? Do you like the quite elaborate foliage and flowers, and quite a lot going on with this one? So yeah, tell me what you think. If you were to make a music card, what instrument or what technique would you use? Until next time then, I will leave it at that, and thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.